Yeah.
Boy, I gotta say, like this like purge of him, and this is not new. I mean, we saw it with Alex Jones, so like before, which I think was kind of the test run for them to flex the powers on this, was more than scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like name any app, any website, and he is banned from it.
Yeah, and like even
Any mainstream
even
one.
Shopify, who was hosting his merch store, took it down.
Unbelievable.
So
Shopify, come on.
And so like, you know, and like Pinterest. So like, I mean, just it was this wild gamut of things. And then, so the argument is always, you know, if you don't like Twitter, make your own, right? So Parler did,
Yes.
right? And say whatever you will about Parler, it was, you know, anywhere from there were some like Nazi-ish type people to basically it was like what I've had an account for ever since it started, just because I gobble up my name on all these things just to have it, even though nobody really has my name.
Yeah.
But I went back and looked at it when this event was happening. I hadn't been on it in years. And it's just like a right-wing conspiracy echo chamber. So all you're doing by purging these people is just making everybody more and more and more
Yes.
polarized. And so Parler was being hosted on Amazon Web Services, which is the
Yes.
largest. Building servers, by the way, is fucking expensive and
Yeah.
difficult. And it takes up a fuck ton of real estate, right? Money that the average person does not have. So that argument about go build your own Twitter, you can't. You cannot.
Right.
It's never going to happen. So this is absolutely a fucking monopoly. These businesses are too fucking big. And dude, watching the left cheer this on too, like him getting banned, again, it's people not seeing the forest of the trees. Like, this is gonna come for you.
Yes.
Don't you understand? There needs to be an internet bill of rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, it's like people say, well, the First Amendment doesn't protect you from private companies and their terms of service. And like, it's true. It's absolutely true. But these companies are so fucking big and have become the town square when none of us can go talk to each other that we have to do it. So like, town square was your
that
example.
you use that language.
It was
So
yours.
like, I'm having this ongoing conversation via DM, ironically, with my friend, about like free speech and how like I'm totally on board with free speech not meaning freedom from consequences. I totally get that. However, when the consequence itself is removal of free speech, that's where I get very uncomfortable, and when it's very dangerous.
Right.
So I was just saying, like, free speech has evolved with us to mean, I mean, it evolved with our language, but the public square, the public forum, is no longer Columbia Park or whatever, Union Square. It's none of these things. It's not an open physical place that we can go to and shout with a newspaper in our hands, with a megaphone. It's not a place we can go to do that anymore. We just don't. We do it all online. Twitter is now the public square, but it's owned by a company.
Right. And so like,
And our free speech laws have not evolved to adapt to a digital public space.
so, and here's the other part of it too, is so free speech in our Constitution is there to protect us from our speech being, getting in trouble for your speech from the government, right? Mm-hmm. Could it be any more clear to anybody right now that Alphabet, like Google, Amazon, Twitter, Facebook are bigger than the fucking government?
Yeah.
They can deplatform the sitting president of the United States, no matter how fucking crazy he is. And what's weird about it too was like in the speech he gave, and I honestly think he's too stupid to know, like when he's riffing, I think he's too stupid to know how fired up these people were.
Yeah.
But nothing on Twitter, I looked for it, I mean, desperately, of like what directly said, go storm the Capitol building, like incite, like go riot. I couldn't find any of it on Twitter. So their excuse to actually ban him off of it was ridiculous. And then you also think about it too. It's like he was inciting a nuclear armed leader of another country on Twitter, calling him short and fat
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And so it's like, this is something they've been wanting to do forever. And also too, it's like the trust the plan QAnon people, you're giving them fuel for their conspiracy theory, you know? And what sucks is that, Trump did have like a tweet too late. I think after he kind of shimmied out the back door before they all went off and did that. He had a tweet that said, I don't know, law and order, peace, this kind of thing. And then he put out this video on the lawn, which is regrettable, about like selection was fraudulent. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Right.
And then after it had stopped, And then he put out like a hostage video like that one, which was about a minute and a half, but it had like some hard edits. And I watched this one all the way through. I couldn't find any hard edits. So he certainly didn't write it. So whoever wrote it for him did a really good job, I think. So I don't really know how they can. You know what's weird about the media? I'll just define. Like I've been using the word cathedral, and like it's everybody who controls public discourse, right? So media, tech companies, government, right? They have been. Greg was saying earlier that or maybe it was actually I think it was Del Reese said he's heard the word insurrection more than any other like ever. So like the word insurrection. What's the other one they keep using? Just these words you keep hearing over and over and over again. It's like you have to just think that it's true. Coup, incitement, which. And if they just keep saying it over and over and over again, people aren't going to go and try to think for themselves. They're just like, well, if they keep saying it, and they just the word gets weirder and weirder and weirder in your head, and it becomes this brainworm that just sort of digs in, and then you just believe it. You know,
believe that's what it is,
right?
Without knowing the meaning of that word,
right? And I think, so it's very, very, very peculiar to watch this all unfold, and just that. Clearly, the tech company, because that's the thing too. So like, if you were truly banning him for incitement of this riot that went into the Capitol building, you would have had to have proven with the tweet that was the incitement that says directly, go to the Capitol building and threaten to kill Mike Pence, right? But that didn't exist. So they are not neutral actors. They are absolutely Democrat Party companies that control how we talk on the internet, which is it should scare the shit out of you, especially if you're progressive, because when you're too noisy for the Democratic Party, they're going to shut you the fuck down. And these people do not work for you. They don't work for you. They don't want change. They don't want to help you. And dude, I got to say, I hope Biden fucking takes Trump's golden roller skates, rolls in and starts handing out money, because that's the only fucking way people aren't going to keep rioting. So if he does it, I really do want Biden to do a good job. I don't like him. I hate Kamala Harris, but I don't want people to do this anymore. I don't want families to fucking fight. Like, I'm so fucking tired of it, because all the people that, like, the loudest people in the room are the dumbest and the least curious. And so I'm so tired of like getting into arguments with people about this kind of stuff who don't know everything. And then when you know more than them, because you desperately want to have a good point, if people get into an argument with you about it, it devolves into this mess, because then you're just trying to educate them in real time about what's really going on. And then if you defend yourself or try to like give them more information, then once they lose the argument, then you're a Nazi or whatever. So it's like, or you're a right wing, or you're a Trump, because they don't have any programming that goes beyond, well, if he's not quite a Democrat, then he's a Trump guy. It's like, he's a QAnon person. There's no nuance anymore. It's impossible. And I think that these bannings are just going to it's just going to keep pushing it. And this Trump base is not going away. I hope for the love of fuck he doesn't run again. Yeah. So seriously. Because then the cathedral will just be able to complain about him for 4 more years.
Oh, kill me, dude.
And so, I don't know. We'll see. Do you think he's going to be permanently banned?
Honestly, I don't think so.
Generation Y means sedition. Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that question. So I if I were to guess, imagine, look, like Trump's tweets always get hundreds of thousands of likes.
He has 93 million followers.
Wouldn't they want the traction? Or are they already too big that they don't need it anymore?
I don't really know. I think that Twitter, my dad made a good point. He's like, this is strictly about their shareholders, right? So like, Twitter stock, I think, dipped 10% the day after they did it, but it's already starting to go back up.
Of course.
So, because if you think about it, it's like banning him, they created a news event, which makes it just starts going crazy. Yeah. It was so many bad takes in such a short amount of time that I had to take like 2 days off. I didn't even look at it. I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, then why wouldn't they let him back on after he's no longer president? So as to cause another news story.
Right. one of the funniest casualties about this whole thing were the bot accounts that that reply, like Jeff Tiedrick is one of them. Like it was so tough because everyone was so scared to respond to things. I think they didn't know what I was talking about, but I said, Jeff Tiedrick should be on suicide watch. That Dr. Eugene Gu.
Yes.
And it was funny because like someone found a Reddit post from somebody that says, I have a algorithm account that gives snarky responses to Trump's Twitter account, and I had over 100,000 followers, and I don't know what to do with my life now or something.
Right. That's how he paid his bills.
Fucking loser.
And now,
God.